Does it grind your gears that you have to pay more per pound for chuck roast than you do for brisket? Or if you want to buy brisket because it's cheaper per pound, you have to pay at least $100 or more to bring it home? Today, we're going to take this brisket, we're going to break it down and turn it into 4 epic barbecue meals that gets around the loophole of the chuck. Today, we're busting the myth of the poor man's brisket. So one thing doesn't change. Before you cook a brisket, you need to do some trimming. There's a lot of hard fat. There's a lot of areas of pieces that are real thin that are just gonna ruin in the smoker that you can use other ways. We're gonna trim this up basic. We're not gonna do anything too fancy. We're not gonna overcomplicate things for this cook. I am gonna trim the hard fat down to around 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Some of you might be eyeballing this new knife I've got. And let me tell you something, it's super sharp. It's just shredding through this brisket, making easy work of it. This is my new 8-inch chef's knife from New West Knife Works. They reached out and wanted to collaborate, and I got to looking at the quality of the steel, the handles that they use, super high quality. They're all made in the USA, and like I said, razor sharp, making trimming this brisket super easy. If you've got someone in your life that is a good gifter, let them know that you want one of these. If you've got someone in your life that likes the finer things, that likes high quality things, like me, this is one of those things. And so I just wanted to introduce y'all to my new knife. You're gonna be seeing it in upcoming videos, and so that's who makes it. New West Knife Works. Y'all check them out. I'll have links in the comment section down below. I know it sure is making trimming this brisket easy. I'm not trying to overcomplicate this. I just want you to make sure that you clean up this thing so that everything cooks right. It doesn't have to be perfect though. And so that's about all I want to do for this phase of the trimming. Let's go ahead and get into the real cutting. Today, we're going to quarter this brisket up. This is a 16-pound brisket. We're going to quarter it up into about 4-pound pieces, which is about the normal size of a chuck roast. One way that you could do this would be to go in and separate the point from the flat, which you would do that right here. You would come in, start making some incisions. You would go in through this fat vein right here, and then you would slowly separate it. The problem with that is that it tapers off a lot, and you end up with a really thin section. And so to avoid doing that, what I'm gonna do is we are just going to go right down the middle, right here, towards where the point ends and the flat really starts to begin. That way we've got more even sized sections. Okay, so this is about our halfway section right here, and you can see where the point starts to taper off into the flat, and then the flat's just real thin here. It does get thicker on this side, but you risk overcooking this, and so we're gonna let that fat from the point protect the flat. You just can't beat a good sharp knife. 2 cuts. So that's what you're looking at. You know, you've got your point, you got a little bit of flat, you've got a nice size roast there. Same thing on the flat end, nice size roast. Now we're gonna make it interesting because both of these are still twice the size of your average chuck. We're gonna do it again. These will work out to be about the size of a small Boston butt. And then we're going to split the flat end. And that's pretty much all of the cutting that you want to do. This does give you a little bit better view of the marbling and the fat that's around the outside of the brisket. So if you want to trim something that maybe you couldn't tell was really thick hard fat, now's the time to do that. One thing I like about this process is it's also going to give us more surface area on the brisket, so we're going to get more bark. So if you're a big fan of the outside meat, this is for you as well. We're not overcomplicating our seasoning today. We're going to do salt, pepper, and a little bit of Craig's brisket rub. Choose your rub of choice. All 4 pieces are getting the same treatment so that we can keep this simple. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I get to the final point of seasoning up this brisket, I start getting excited about brisket. We don't cook brisket that much. I know it probably seems like I would, but man, I am so looking forward to eating brisket. Now that looks just like 4 awesome sized beef roasts. Thick enough to cook alone, fatty enough to get tender, and you just know that it's going to be awesome. Okay, so while our seasoning is sweating onto our meat, we're going to get our smoker going. So the advantage here is that every section gets to cook as its own piece, where a lot of times it can be difficult to get the point right and the flat right at the same time, or get the fatty in and the lean in right at the same time. And so we break it down more, it gives us a little bit more control over when we pull these pieces. Let's go ahead and let's torture the neighborhood. Let's get this stuff in the smoking. We'll be back to check these out in just a little bit. It definitely looks like some brisket. Just a little apple cider vinegar and some orange juice and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, so we are at hour 5 on our brisket, and there are some pretty significant temperature differences from the slightly smaller pieces to the slightly bigger pieces. And also I think that the pieces that have more point in them are cooking a little bit slower, because our highest is 188 internal and our lowest is 167, so over 20 degrees difference. And that's the kind of thing that you're dealing with when you're trying to get your brisket to finish point flat at the same time. You ever wonder, why can't I get it right? It's because that's the sort of thing that you see when you have different levels of intermuscular fat. So let's go ahead and see what sort of bark formation that we've got, and let's put a little spritz on. They look so good. If those don't look like some nuggets of deliciousness, I don't know what does. Spritzed meteorites, man. So these two here and here, these are the two that are getting a little closer to being pulled. And these two, especially this one, this is our slowest one, so it's our most chunky piece. We're gonna let them run. Okay, so at hour 7, we've got 2 sections that are ready to come off the smoker. Let's go ahead, get them off the pit. that look good. We're gonna leave our probe in so that we can monitor temp. Shut this down, and we're gonna put these into a cooler, let them rest for a while. We'll be monitoring these two pieces of the point. When they get over 200, we'll be pulling them as well. So this is one of my favorite parts of this whole setup, is that these two sections are now out of the smoker. Those two sections are still in the smoker. If they were all still connected, we would be cooking all of this, continuing on until that was done. And so my flat would probably definitely get overcooked. It's a very hard piece of meat to get right. Let me know down in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about drying out the flat. If you enjoy barbecue content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button for me. Ladies and gentlemen, section number 3 has reached temp. This happened just under the 8-hour mark. Oh, take a look at that.
Is that number 4?
This is number 3. I got the wrong one out. This is the one. Gotta love a good easy fix. I am glad that we caught that though, because the one that's still in there is only at 192 degrees. And so it needs a little bit longer. This has been fun though. I'm gonna put this in the cooler. When we're back, we'll come to pull that last piece. Alrighty then, so we have reached the little over 8-hour mark, and our final piece of the point is coming off of the smoker. This is really exciting. I just cooked a whole brisket in 8 hours, and we're about to do a very long rest. I'm gonna hold the brisket overnight. Let's get it out of here. Oh, I haven't got my wax paper out yet. I'm really bad about overlooking stuff towards the end of the video when I'm kind of tired of making video. Can't wrap it up in air though. All right, so this will definitely be one of the ones that we cut open tomorrow and check out. This is probe number 3. So we're gonna roll this up, get it in the cooler. We're gonna let everything come down to around 150, 155 degrees slowly. And then we're gonna put it into the oven on warm overnight. We'll be taking it out, slicing it up tomorrow for lunch. It'll be a good day, Tater. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay, so full disclosure, I think some mistakes might have been made. First of all, we decided to do a long hold on these smaller pieces of brisket. Second of all, I've never done that. And so, I mean, we're at hour 14 right now. And so we decided we would hold them in our oven overnight on warm. I've never done that. I got to checking, I wonder what temperature warm is in my oven, you know, because you don't want it to be too low or it won't be food safe. Well, it was holding at 170, which is too hot. An internal temp of 170 is gonna, you know, if it holds there, it's gonna continue to cook. I mean, ask yourself, what temperature do you cook jerky at? So what I decided to do was I got up every 2 hours and I would turn the stove off and then let the internal temperatures come back down to 140, and then I would get up and turn it back on. And I did that 4 times. And so I don't know that was the best thing to do. We got a late start yesterday because I'm shooting on a new camera today, and we had some things we had to figure out. And so, you know, excuses is just what it is. It's an excuse, but yeah, late start. Decided not to do the reveal and cut last night and to hold it. I was going to do a long hold anyway. I did not know that my oven held temp at too high of a temp. And so I'm worried that the meat contracted and expanded and contracted and expanded with the changing temperatures last night and just pushed all the moisture out of these pieces of brisket. Let's find out. It feels so bad. It doesn't feel good. They feel robust. This is what you want your bicep to feel like. Your girlfriend grabs it. Oh, Lord. All right, let's get one of these unwrapped. Looks briskety. Tastes really good. You know, this is a piece of the point. It's more pliable out of the paper than it was in the paper. It's definitely not as worrying now that I've got it out, at least with this piece of point. So we're gonna slice into this thing and see how we did. Y'all ever think about eating this paper? I've thought about it. I've never done it, but I've thought about it. That came out easy. Let's just go in. Well, the point part is not going to be bad at all. Still got a little steam coming out of there. That's awesome news. So this part is not, you know, not ruined for sure. I mean, it's nice and soft and pliable. Definitely not what it felt like when it was still in the paper. I was very worried. Very encouraging. Now, if this was the section that you decided to, you know, freeze and bring back to life, you could bring it back and cut it into burnt ends, warm it back up with some barbecue sauce on it, and you know it's gonna be fire. But there's a beautiful little burnt end right there. Super tender. All right, so let's go ahead, try a piece of the point. You know the point's gonna be fire.
It's tender.
Yeah, so I'm really pleased with how that point turned out. I don't know about the flat. Let's get a piece of this flat and just see exactly what the situation is. So this is our biggest section of the flat. Flat is the flat, and that is that. Okay, so our fat cap still squishy. I just don't know. I don't know that we're going to be happy with what we find on the inside. Maybe so. It's pliable. I'm not sure on the direction to cut it. I should have left myself an indicator. Not bad. Not bad. The outside layer is a little bit dehydrated, but man, that's just falling apart. That's really not nearly what I thought it was going to be. Look at that. Tearing apart easily. Moisture in the meat. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought for sure that temperature going from 140s up to 160 to 140 to 160 throughout the night was going to, you know, dehydrate it like crazy. That's really good. The flavor. If y'all don't know about that Craig's brisket rub, y'all need to try some of that out. I'll leave a link to that down below in the comment section. If you haven't yet, go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Come over to American Smoked Carnivores on Facebook. It's a great group, growing group. What I was feeling in the paper was the outside crust. And I do believe that the really long rest did toughen the outside layer a little bit, but the inside is fine. Get these burn ends going. Oh, that looks perfect. Beautiful crust on these. Beautiful little burn ends. So I think that's a success. You know, do I think I can improve it? Definitely. But this is going to be what we eat on today and maybe one more meal this week. We're going to be vacuum sealing these chunks and bringing them back to life later on. And so that was the whole reason I did this. Now, you can go in and freeze these before you smoke them, or you can do what I'm doing, smoke them, and then you can just have brisket on a Wednesday, you know, which is hard to do. But that is just really pretty. Show y'all a better close up of what I'm working with here. All right, so that's it. Everything turned out better than I thought it would after the night that we had. I want to give a big shout out to New West Knife Works for sending out this awesome blade. It did such a good job on the trim, on the cut, on every aspect. Feels good in the hand, looks good. I encourage you to look into them. I'll leave a link in the comment section down below. Guys, if you have any questions about this cook or any recommendations of how I can do better next time, let me know. Thanks for watching. Smoke on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.